What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to LTQ Wrestling Podcast. I am BDJ, joined today by QJ. We'll be talking about Cesaro. And recently was listening to Paul Heyman's interview, and he was talking about Cesaro and how he managed Cesaro and Curtis Axel. And, he talked a little bit about Cesaro's momentum in WWE and how it got halted. And I thought, you know what? We need to talk about this in the video. We haven't talked a lot about Cesaro or Claudio Castagnoli in AEW now, and just what went right and what went wrong for him in WWE. There was a lot that went wrong. He had some success in WWE, but just not a lot. So, QJ, you ready to talk about some Cesaro today?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So, Paul Heyman had a lot to say. He was on Chris Van Vliet's interview, and I saw clips pop up on TikTok of what he had to say. I haven't watched the full interview yet. I'll listen to that when I'm at work this weekend. He pretty much said, quote, you look at Cesaro and he checked specifically at that moment. He checked every box to become a top star. Everyone who got in the ring with him came back in the gorilla saying, give me him, everyone, everyone. I remember John Cena worked with him on television and came back and looked at Vince and said, I could main event WrestleMania with him, and probably could have and should have. Cesaro was placed in that position the day after Brock Lesnar conquered the streak, so that when Brock took his hiatus, I had an excuse to be on television and say, my client, Brock Lesnar, conquered The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. So a lot to say there from Paul Heyman. Obviously, he was a huge Cesaro fan. Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy for a short stint. And honestly, during that time, I thought, man, they're putting him with Paul Heyman. They're actually probably going to put the rocket ship with this guy. And it just never really led to anything. Same with Curtis Axel. It just never really got momentum. And for whatever reason, Vince just never got behind Cesaro. I mean, when your top guy is coming to the back telling you, like, look, man, this guy's got it, man. I can main event WrestleMania with him. You still don't push this guy as a top star. What else can you really do? So, QJ, after hearing that, obviously you're a big John Cena fan. What do you think about everything Paul Heyman had to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman's right. I mean, he has everything. Um, I think I heard that he also speaks a lot of different languages, which is very hard, and he could speak them very well. I mean, just gotta get should have just gotta give him a try. I mean, yeah, that match with him and John Cena, people haven't watched or remembered on Raw for the United States champion. Good match, probably one of the best Raw matches I've seen in a long time. Back then, I put that as a top two. Um, it's if y'all remember, it's not the one that no they fought twice, but it's not the one that when Kevin Owens interfered. That it's the other one they faced again. I think the next week after, but it's a while back though. But yeah, I mean, if John Cena's saying yeah I can main event with this guy, but in the days up to Vince, he gotta make the call and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. They just gotta stop doing that wasted opportunity. This is all. I felt he definitely should have won a world title.
I agree. I mean, Cesaro had all the tools. Yes, he wasn't the greatest on the mic, but that's why you give somebody a manager. He gave Brock a manager. He's pushed other people that have had the look, but not the talking ability. Vince just didn't like Cesaro. I don't know what it was. I mean, this guy could speak five languages fluently, like QJ said. Paul Heyman talked about that. He actually wasn't terrible on the mic when given the opportunity. It's just he didn't really get much of an opportunity in a main event setting. And you look at his accomplishments. One-time United States champion, as I put up the graphic on the screen. One-time United States champion, four-time Raw Tag Team champion, one time with Tyson Kidd and one time with Sheamus. One-time SmackDown Tag champion with Nakamura. I forgot they were even tag champs together. That was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
surprise to see for me. He won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal WrestleMania 30. At that time, it was a bigger deal than it is now. He thought, man, this guy's going to get pushed. He won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Not much happened after that. He did win the Ring of Honor world title recently. I guess you can count that as a world title. I mean, Ring of Honor hasn't really been relevant in a while. I know Tony Khan owns it and everything, but it's just like, I don't know if I really count. I guess it's a world title. He's also held the AEW World Trio Championship for the Death Riders, and he's also been AEW Tag Champs with Moxley. Now, you look at that resume and you think it's a solid resume. When I looked up his WWE resume specifically, I was a little let down because I forgot about a lot of his career accomplishments because it's been so long since I've watched him. And it's like only one singles title win his entire time there. The United States title. He never won an intercontinental title. Nothing. I mean, it's just crazy to me. Like, yes, I get it. He's had some success. Him and Sheamus were a hell of a tag team. Him and Tyson Kidd were a hell of a tag team. I enjoyed a lot of their matches. But like, man, this guy one singles title in the amount of time he was there and how hot he was at certain times. And, the fans getting behind the Cesaro swing section. I remember that was a huge thing at one point. The fans were all holding up the Cesaro section signs. And it was just a lot of momentum he had. And for some reason, WWE and even AEW right now don't really use him as a solo main event guy. And I don't really understand it. I know AEW has a lot of talented wrestlers on the roster, and he's 45 now. I understand all that, but like Cesaro's whole WWE and AEW run for me has been completely disappointing. Yes, he's had more success than others. I know some people put Dolph Ziggler in the same category as Cesaro. At least Dolph won a Money in the Bank. At least he's, won a world title. I don't really put them in the same category, but man, QJ, when you hear his resume for AEW and WWE, does it let you down a little bit hearing how he's only held one singles title in WWE?
Yeah, kind of sad because he should have been holding, you know what I mean, like multiple. Like most of the time, if we do see him, he's in a tag team match or whatever. But yeah, he should have definitely held more, especially the main titles. These held a couple of times, you know what I mean? Could have been like a 5-time, 4-time, whatever. But I mean, like you said, at least with Dolph, he held it. You know what I mean? He had his moments. So people kind of gotta stop comparing that, you know. But I don't know, man. They gotta just stop. They gotta stop doing that. They gotta just try it. If it didn't work for like whatever, say a month or two, give it a month or two. If it didn't work, didn't work. But at least we can say they tried. You know what I mean? But that's the problem. That's why it don't be much. You know what I mean? Other wrestlers to face and stuff like that. Because that's why we getting tired of Cody and Rings all the time because we're always seeing them and it's mainly the main people. You know what I mean? We watch the regular shows and stuff. So gotta make a change in that.
Agreed. And it's like WWE, and it's been like this with Vince and George, Triple H. Like, yeah, they kind of tried something new with Jey Uso, mainly because the merch sales, but like they're not wanting to take risks a lot of the times. They like to play it safe. Okay, we need a new world champion. Let's make it Roman Reigns again. We need Cody as champion again. Like they don't really like they kind of try with Priest. Like they do it here and there, but it's like they don't do it for a long period of time. Like, excuse me. So like Priest didn't have a long title reign. It was okay. I mean, it just seems like they don't really see Priest the main event guys. If you see his booking lately, he's pretty much fallen off even in the mid card scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't really give newer wrestlers long title reigns. They'll test it, but they won't give them a year, 2 years. They kind of go back to the well with the same people a lot. We're even seeing that in King of the Ring. Hopefully, Obafemi wins it tomorrow as we're recording. It's probably this video will be uploaded after that show, but as we're recording this before the show, hopefully they do something different with that. Like it's they don't trust newer talent. I feel like with Vince at that time, and Vince has always been bad with this. He don't really trust new people. Vince has always went back to the well. Oh, we need a WrestleMania main event. Let's call back Rock. Let's call back Hogan. Let's call back Stone Cold. Let's get Cena back in here. Like he's always went back to his biggest stars. And their draws, I get it. They draw a lot of money. They're very popular. They're legends. They made you as much money as you have. I understand all that. But it just seems like he was afraid to do anything with Cesaro outside of maybe a mid card reign and tag team. And don't get me wrong, him and Sheamus were a hell of a tag team. I love their best of 7 series they had before they got together as a tag team. It was some
Yeah.
awesome matches. But why is he not having the matches in a main event of a pay per view, a main event of a WrestleMania? Why is that not a thing? And it's just all these years later, looking back on Cesaro's run in WWE, it was a disappointment, just like a lot of other people. But he had all the tools to be a main event guy. Could he be the face of your company? Probably not. But he could be one of your top guys on the card. He could be your Seth Rollins. He could be your Kurt Angle, where he's a great worker to provide some humor and just be a guy who's in there in main events to make other people look great as well. Because he never had a bad match, and Vince just never pulled the trigger on it. And I just still to this day don't understand why he didn't at least try it one time. You heard the fan reaction. You heard the people backstage. John Cena saying, I can main event WrestleMania with this guy. I'm sure he's not the only person backstage. Paul Heyman said others wanted to work with him. So he got wrestlers, you got fans, you got Paul Heyman, you got everybody else but you wanting this guy to be a main eventer. But your stubborn ass is like, nah, I don't want this guy. And I know Vince went on Stone Cold's podcast on the WWE Network. I remember that one time, and Stone Cold asked him, like, why is Cesaro not a main event guy? And he was like, oh, he don't got charisma. Vince, you push Baron Corbin. I'm not hating on Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin's not a very charismatic guy. Brock Lesnar's not a very charismatic guy. A lot of people you pushed have not been very charismatic. So to use that as a reason, smell a little bit of BS. But look, it is what it is. Even in AEW, I'm a little bit disappointed. He hasn't really done a whole lot there as a singles competitor. He's just in Moxley's group as a background guy. A lot of people were excited when he went to AEW. They thought, oh man, Claudio's going to AEW. He's going to get world title matches and be in main events. That has not happened. So QJ, have you been disappointed with his run in AEW? Have you thought it's been okay? I know he's won a Ring of Honor world title when he was there. I guess that's more than most, but have you been a little bit disappointed by his AEW run as well?
Yeah, definitely have. I mean, he had his moments, obviously, but I'll just be forgetting he even there. Honestly, it's just it's sad, man. Be having so much good talent, but like we know, the problem with AEW is they sign all these people that's great talent, so it's kind of hard to everybody get their moments. Look at Brian Cage, we barely even see him. So, what does that tell you?
Yeah, Brian Cage, Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. Mm-hmm.
I could go on and on the list, honestly. Sammy Guevara, I know he's got heat, but he ain't on the show anymore.
Right.
Britt Baker's got heat. She's off the show now. Like
See?
a lot of talented people. And I get the backstage issues of Sammy Guevara and Britt Baker, not well liked backstage. I get there, but I'm just using them as examples of like people who were like huge names when they first got there and are gone. But like Claudio is going to be one of them people I look back on even 20 years from now and think, man, this guy just had a very underwhelming career in the main companies for whatever reason that may be. And he was a huge star in Ring of Honor. If you go back and watch his stuff with Bryan Danielson and all of them at that time period, he was a big deal there. It's just AEW and WWE for whatever reason don't view him as a top guy, and I'm always gonna just sit here and think why. And it's just Vince's stubbornness. Tony Khan, I guess he just has too many other people on the roster to really notice him as much. I don't know. I mean, when you're in Moxley's group, it's kind of just hard to care. I'm not the biggest Moxley fan, as y'all know. I don't care about anything Moxley does. I think he's boring. No hate on the guy. I know a lot of people like Mox. I get it. His ain't my cup of tea, but he's in that group. I don't really pay much attention to the group most of the time. I think they're just doing whatever. I know they're trying to get Ospreay in their group or whatever right now. I try to keep going with AEW when I can. It's just sometimes there's so much wrestling to watch over the week, but I do try to keep up with the shows as much as I can. But when the Death Riders come on my TV, I usually just fast forward. I can't lie to you. I just can't watch it. But man, I don't know. Cesaro's the biggest, probably one of the biggest what ifs in WWE history, in my opinion. There's been a lot of talents that have not been pushed to the level they thought they should be at, but he's definitely one of those. I just scratch my head and think, man, like this guy could have been main eventing WrestleMania against John Cena, Roman Reigns. I know Vince put him against Roman Reigns. I didn't hate those matches, but still, he just never got the job done, unfortunately. And I know there were a lot of fans at that time. I remember reading comments. They were like, oh, Cesaro could beat Roman Reigns. I'm like, man, y'all need to get out of my face. Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Like, come on, dog. Vince ain't going to have him beat his top guy. He won't even let him win a world title. Like,
they go off the merge. Oh, if Cesaro would have won, he wouldn't be able to sell merge and all that. So that's why he lost.
Yeah, because he sold the Kofi Mania merch and stuff, so he kind of took advantage of that. So, yeah, I mean, very underwhelming. Hopefully, he is at least satisfied with his career somewhat. I mean, I know he's had some good moments in his career, but if I was him, I would have hoped for more. And he's 45. I don't really see him ever winning a world title at this point in AEW or WWE. He's just at that age where it's probably closer to the end than the beginning in wrestling. So hopefully he just keeps doing it for a while, enjoys what he's doing, and retires and goes off and has a good life or still be involved in the business or whatever he wants to do. It's just one of the biggest disappointments for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed us talking about Cesaro. I know he's been out of WWE for a while. He's been in AEW for a few years. But Paul Heyman's recent comments got us thinking, we should talk about it a little bit more. What could have been with Cesaro? So let us know your thoughts on Cesaro down below. Did you guys think he was underutilized in WWE? Did you think he accomplished enough? Were you not really a fan of him? Did you not like his mic skills? Whatever the case, let us know in the comments. As always, appreciate the support. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.